Hello. Hello. Can you guys hear me? We're getting ready to paint. Hi. Hello, everyone. We're going to get ready to paint a fabulous owl today. We're just going to wait for some people to show up. Hello. If you haven't already, I recommend getting a cup of water to rinse your brushes out and a paper towel to dry your brushes when you go to rinse them. I have an apron on, but that's just me. I tend to wipe my brushes off on the apron. I have some music. Can you guys hear the music? Yes, I hope so. Let me know if you can't. Here's an example, remind you of what we're getting, what we're painting today. All right, just wait for a couple more people to hop on, and then we'll get started. Super excited. I see you, Tiffany. I see you. All right. Oh, people are joining us. I'm excited. I hope everyone's having an awesome Dandelion Day today. Here in Rochester, it is cold, like always, and the sun is shining a little bit. And if you haven't already, I hope you registered for your bucket hat. They're pretty fancy, pretty stylish. They come with some fun surprises. Those of you who have already received them, you know that you got some food truck buttons, so you can have some food truck snacks virtually, even though we can't do it in person. All right, so I hope you all have your cup of water and your paper towel. We're gonna start the painting, and as people kind of come and join us, I can talk about the things that are going on. If people have questions, just put it in the chat, and I'll work on responding to them, or I think I have a helper who's going to be helping respond to them. Cool. Well, welcome to my home. My name is Jennelle. My name is not actually Jennelle Ross. The team likes to call me that for fun. I am an artist. I have a degree in painting and illustration, so it is something that I do love to do, and I'm excited to share it with you all today. All right, so now the sample that you kind of saw on the social media post, this is our little fan owl. Super colorful. I painted him horizontally here. Today, I'm gonna paint him vertically, but you can do whichever you wanna do. The shorter horizontal version, you see that he's a little more round, right? A little round, a little short. When I paint him here, he's gonna be a little more skinny and tall. So it really all depends on what kind of look you're going for. If your owl does not look like mine, that's okay. This is about being creative and having fun, getting your brain to access a different part of it, kind of getting out of your head, and we're escaping for a little bit right now. This is gonna be fun. Doesn't matter what your painting looks like. Doesn't need to look like something amazing, okay? All right, I will keep this here as reference. I should pin him to my corkboard, but I don't have any pins, so we're just gonna kind of put him here. I might move him around as I need to access my paint, but if you need to see him again, just let me know. All right, you don't have to have a palette. I find it's useful because I'm working on a larger canvas than what you guys were sent in the mail. Your canvas is a 5x7, so it's much smaller. So in your little tubes, you can just dip your paint right in those tubes and you should be fine. For me, I have these big, these big tubes, so I'll probably be squirting out into a palette. You can see I use this palette a lot. I like to reuse and reuse and reuse until I can't reuse anymore. Try to be green as much as possible. You can also use an egg carton. Look, Wegmans. You can also use an egg carton for your palette as well. That's especially good for kids or people who are messy because it has little deeper wells to put your paint in, okay? Sometimes I like to always just keep one of these because I just feel like they have a lot of purposes that I find to use them for. All right, cool. So we're gonna get started. More people have joined us. Hi, welcome. I'm Jennelle, not actually Ross, but hi. All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with the first step, which is painting that background color, okay? Now I've chosen yellow for the background color because I think that it really makes the owl's eyes pop. Plus, some of that yellow in his eyes is actually the background color, so I didn't actually paint in that area entirely, which is really great. So it kind of saves you that step. So you can choose whatever color you want for the background. I would probably recommend a light color. So I think in your paint pack, you have like a light blue. There is an orange that's kind of like a medium tone. And some other colors in there. You can choose whichever you want. I like the yellow best, so that's what I'm gonna go with. And then I do have a little bit of, you can see a little bit of orange mixed in, so we're gonna go through doing that. Now I didn't make mine go all the way to the edge. I kind of like that look, but you can certainly make yours go all the way to the edge. All right, I'm going to get my brush. Now I'm gonna be using some larger brushes than what you guys got in your paint pack. And that is because I have a larger canvas, right? So it's about scale and using something that fits the scale of what you're working with. All right, so I have this nice big brush that I'm gonna use. I'm gonna get my brush wet. I recommend doing that, getting your brush nice and wet to begin with, because it helps the paint kind of move around. Instead of the paint kind of soaking into your bristles, the water's already helped that, so you'll need less paint as you're doing it. All right, I'm gonna grab my yellow. Okay. And here we go, I got my brush wet, and I'm gonna start getting my brush coated with the paint, okay? And then I'm just gonna go for it. All right, we don't need to make it look pretty. And we're just gonna fill it in. We don't need to worry as much about this centerpiece right here, because that's where your owl is going to be. So you don't have to worry about filling in that area as much. You really wanna work kind of on getting close to the edges, but doesn't need to be perfectly to the edges. Okay? Right. Go. Just have fun with it. Be free. Just kind of wherever the paint and the brush kind of takes you. And you don't have to fill in the area completely. So like if you see here, there's some white of the canvas coming through, and that's okay. We're going for, you know, something that's fun and vibrant and, you know, has, you know, you're making it with your hands, and that's okay to be imperfect, right? All right, so just keep filling it in. You can see I have a lot of canvas to fill in. You might be quicker than me at this, which is why I said you don't need to necessarily fill in this whole section here. So I'm just gonna kind of move through this. All right. All right, almost there. So close. And then we're gonna grab some orange. All right. Now, this paint is still kind of wet. And that's good because what we're going to be doing next is we're going to be mixing in some of the orange into that. Okay? So now I'm going to grab some of the orange. Now your colors might not be exactly the same as mine. That's okay. Ooh. Orange is a little runny. All right. I'm going to get my brush just a little bit wet, not a lot. I'm going to dip it in the orange, but I don't want to completely coat it, okay? You see there's just a little bit of orange on here. And I'm going to come into some of these areas And I'm just gonna kind of flick my brush around, okay? And I'm gonna keep doing that until it kind of mixes in with the yellow. You see how it keeps kind of mixing in with that yellow. Now, if you don't want orange in your background, you don't have to do this. That's okay. And if you chose a different color, let's say you chose the light blue for your background, maybe you go in with a darker blue as your accent, or a purple, something that's kind of next to it in the kind of rainbow, and that'll help kind of give it some interesting depth, okay? I know one of the things I'm always talking about with some of my student employees when they're designing is adding some depth and layers and making things look not quite as flat, right? And so this will certainly help in doing that. And it's okay. If you didn't color in this area, this doesn't matter. It's all going to get filled in with the owl's feathers, okay? And if you don't love it, like if you added some orange and you don't love it, you can just add more yellow in to go over it, okay? All right. I think I'm pretty happy with my orange right now. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next step, which is figuring out where that owl is going to go. All right. Now, you probably saw the picture of the owl and thought, how am I going to paint this? And that's okay. I'm going to make it super easy for you, okay? Now, you're going to take, I think you have like 2 brushes maybe. There's a flat head and a flat brush and a round brush. It doesn't really matter which you use. I find the round brush to be a little bit easier to do detail with. So use whatever makes sense. If you've only got 1 brush, that's okay. Use whatever. Doesn't really matter. I'm just trying to find the right brush for what I'm doing. I'm going to go with not that one. Not that brush. Oh boy. All right, I'm going to try this one. So now what we're going to do is you're going to grab your darker blue color. So you should have a darker blue color that's very similar to this one, okay? You don't want to go with a light color. We want a darker color, so don't go with a light blue. I like the darker blue. And this is what we're going to start with. So what we're going to do is we're going to work from dark to light, okay? When you are putting in those dark colors, it's going to look weird. And you're going to be like, this doesn't look the same. This doesn't look right. It's okay. It all comes together in the last 3 steps, I promise. Okay, so I'm going to put some blue paint on my palette. All right, I'm going to get my brush wet, like we talked about, okay? I'm going to dip it in the paint. Kind of medium coverage, doesn't need to have a ton of coverage, okay? Just like a medium amount of coverage. You're going to locate on your canvas where the center is, okay? So I'm going to say the center is probably the center this way, by the way. I'm going to say the center is roughly here. Now, this is not an exact science. It doesn't need to be perfect, okay? And then think about where it is that you want the eyes to be. So, like, if I was to go and I wanted it to have, like, a lot of sky, like, let's say I had, like, a lot of background and a really cool pattern or something I was doing up here, I might want the owl's face to start down here, like, way down here, okay? Oh, here it is. I lost him. When you look at this one, I wanted his face to kind of be up here. So I didn't want as much of this kind of background showing. Okay, so think about where you want that owl's face to be. And what you're going to do is you're going to find your center point. You're going to find the kind of where you want the owl's eyes to be. Okay, the center point along that line, and you're going to draw a dot. Yeah, real intimidating, okay? From that dot, you're going to make an X, okay? Now you see that we have these like ears coming up, okay, off of the owl's head. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna draw an X of where you think those ears would be, right? So I'm gonna go like this, and I'm gonna do a little dashed line, okay? And don't worry, we're gonna cover this up later. So if you like accidentally go, it's okay, don't worry. All right, so we have our X. Now in this X, we're gonna also take our blue paint, okay? We're gonna draw in the features in this X. We're gonna basically lay out the blueprint for what we're doing, okay? So here in this X, we're gonna have the owls. I'm gonna start with the owl's nose, okay? And the nose is gonna kind of be right nestled in this triangle. So now you see that we have kind of these sections that we've created using this X. So you're going to go in here and you're gonna draw a circle. We're gonna draw a series of 3 circles, okay? Now you see, this doesn't have to be perfect. It's okay. Like I said, we're gonna go back in and we're going to make everything like cleaner and everything in the towards the end, okay? So this right here is where the owl's nose is gonna be. So you draw a circle, and then at the bottom of your circle, you're gonna kind of draw a V, okay? Now I have it so that my circle comes in and then it goes down into the V, okay? It's kind of like an ice cream cone, okay? So we've drawn an ice cream cone. Now I'm gonna turn into the owl's mouth, his little beak, okay? If you make any mistakes, it's okay. You can paint over it, okay? It's fine. And the feathers on this are very forgiving, okay? So don't worry. Now we're gonna make 2 other circles. Similar in size, maybe a little bit bigger. It really all depends on how big you want the owl's eyes to be, okay? Like if you want one of those like really cartoony looking, maybe anime style owls, you could draw really giant eyes, right? Maybe it's a Disney owl with giant eyeballs. That's okay. All right, so I'm gonna make my owl. I think I'm gonna give him some really big eyes. I think that'll be really fun, okay? So now you're gonna wanna use each one of these triangles to be for the eyes, all right? So you're gonna I kind of wanna go over here. All right, I'm switching sides briefly, just so I can look at it from a different angle here. I'll move back in a minute. You're gonna kind of wanna, again, draw a circle. It doesn't have to be perfect, all right? Look at that, I made him have really big eyes. You do not need to do that. In the original one, look, he has really like, I don't know, medium-sized eyes. I think that it'd be really fun to give him really big eyes. And this is great because we're showing that there isn't one way to paint anything, right? We all paint different in our own ways, and that is okay, right? And my eyes aren't symmetrical. My X isn't perfect. It's okay. It'll all look good in the end. All right, so okay, so now that we have kind of the foundation for our owl, we're gonna start doing the feathers. Now the feathers are, they're fun to do, but they are the most time-consuming step because we need to make feathers in a variety, probably like 6 or 7 different colors, okay? But it's just really, really fun. It's very therapeutic. You'll find it very peaceful, okay? We're gonna start with dark colors and then we're gonna work towards the light. Right, so we're gonna keep using the same blue that we have right now, okay? And I'm gonna get my brush fairly coated, okay? I got it pretty coated. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna start from the center point, okay? And we're gonna work out. If you've ever seen like Star Wars, right? The beginning of Star Wars where it has the lights and the text and it's angled and it looks like it's coming at you and it's like really far away in the background and then it gets like much bigger when it gets close to you, okay? We're gonna do that with the owl's feathers. So we're gonna start in the center point. It's kind of like, it's our far away point, okay? And that's gonna be where the owls are, or the feathers are really small, and then we're gonna work, as we get out, they're gonna get bigger, okay? So now if you look here in this example, you'll see that the feathers are really small towards the center, okay? And then as they move out, they get way bigger, okay? The other thing that you notice is that they kind of go in a direction, okay? So like here, we have the owl's feathers curving out with the owl's body, okay? So that's what we're gonna do. And we're gonna start with this blue. And we're gonna start in the center with little tiny movements, okay? So we're gonna start with little tiny movements. And you're gonna move in the shape of this triangle here, okay? So when I pull up here, I'm going along the lines of your triangle, okay? So that little point in the center is the point that you're working out from, okay? So now I've started working out. Now, if you accidentally go over your eyeball, that's okay. Again, we're gonna paint the eyes in later, okay? It's fine. So you kind of do this. Now you don't need to fill the whole space because remember, we have like 6 or 7 colors that we're gonna use. And as we use each one of those colors, you're going to be filling in all of those spaces, okay? So you're gonna keep working out from the center in all of the different segments, okay? So as you work out here, and if you get like blobs of paint, that's cool, adds fun texture, okay? Now, what you wanna kind of decide as you're working out from the center is where you want the owl's head to stop and his ears to begin, okay? So, for instance, I'm gonna kind of say, I want his head to stop maybe here, okay? That's where I want his head to stop. And then I want his head to come down here like this, okay? So I'm making myself a guide that I want his head to come down, okay? I'm making a guide for myself for his body, okay? And like I said, your owl doesn't need to match my owl. It can be a round little ball of fluff. It can be any shape that you want him to be, okay? All right, so now that I've kind of set this guide of where I want my feathers to stop, I'm gonna work out from that center point, okay, towards those lines. Now, as I get out to these lines, I'm gonna follow these lines down, okay? So here I am following the curve of that line, okay? And keep dipping your brush in the paint as you go. As you find that you need more paint, just keep dipping your brush, okay? You're gonna keep working on these shapes, filling them in with some feathers, but not completely filling them in because we have other colors to do. When you're up here in the top, you're just gonna kind of work and you're gonna drag your brush. You see how my brush is just kind of going past that line that I created for the top of his head, okay? That's what you're gonna do. He's gonna get some spiky feathers on top. He's super fun. Okay. And keep filling this in. There's no wrong way to do this, okay? I'm gonna start here and the little small feathers go in here. Okay, and then I'm gonna start going out from the center here. Some bigger feathers. We're still working with the blue, okay? Now you might get done with the blue before me because I have a larger canvas. That's okay. I think the next color we're gonna move on to is red, okay? Now when you get under the eyes, because you have the curve that you're doing here, right? So you're kind of coming in here, and then you have this triangle, which you're working here. You know, you kind of curve your line. So I'm going like left to right, and then I kind of change my angle as I'm going a little bit here. So I'm kind of like spinning my brush around, okay? All right, I'm gonna keep filling all these in. All right. I know he looks kind of weird. Look, he's very U of R. Blue and yellow. Very fun. Just keep going to fill in your feathers. You can see, doesn't have to be perfect. There's no rhyme or reason. Just keep filling it in. All right, I'm almost done. Maybe I should use a bigger brush. Too bad my other brush broke. All right. Now, when we move on to the next color, if the canvas is still wet from your previous color, that's totally fine. The colors might mix, and that's okay. Now, as you're getting to the bottom, it's possible, like I have this little stand right here that's kind of preventing me a little bit from dragging my paintbrush down, right, in that motion. And that's okay. I can change my motion to go up, right? As long as it's still following kind of the curves that you want to work, want the feathers to go in. Whew, words struggle. All right. I'm just about done with this, and then I'm going to move on to the red. Like I said, you don't have to fill in the whole area. You just want to make sure that there is a little bit of blue pretty much everywhere in terms of the layout, right? So I don't have any areas that don't have any, like they're not missing some kind of blue. Now we're going to kind of go into the owl's ears. Now, this is where your X is helpful, right? So you're going to want to follow your X to give maybe more of a concrete line to those ears. All right. So that's where my owl's ears are going to be. And what you're going to do is similar to how we like worked on the feathers. You're going to draw your feathers out along those lines, okay? You want your feathers to be longer towards the base of the ear and then get a little shorter as you go up the ear, okay? There we go. That. So our owl is basically made up of triangle shapes and circles. You have the circles for the eyes, you have the circles kind of for his body, and then you have the triangle for his little beak, and the triangles for his ears. Just a whole bunch of circles and triangles. All right, so now I'm going to rinse my brush, and I'm going to move on to the next color. Now, if your brush isn't completely coming clean, that's okay because you're going to be basically working with a lot of these same colors. They're gonna mix a little bit. All right, so I'm gonna grab the red. All right, now using your brush again, make sure that it's wet so that the paint doesn't get all sucked up into the brush and your brush can remain nice and wet. Okay, so now get your coated with the red paint, and you're gonna do the same thing that you just did with the blue, okay? And when you do that, you're not gonna be making the same exact movements, right? So some of that yellow canvas is gonna be filled in by that red paint. And some of it's gonna, you're just gonna overlap, but that's what feathers do, they overlap. So that's totally fine. All right, and just keep dipping your brush in the paint and working through all your triangles, okay? So now I'm gonna move over to this side. And over here, he's looking so cute. Now we have a lot of primary colors in here, your red and your blue. Though, in reality, red and blue are not actually primary colors, fun fact. Your primary colors are actually cyan, magenta, and yellow, which is why you see a lot of your ink cartridges for your printers and things will be in those colors. All right. There we go. It's looking awesome. See how just adding that little bit of the second color, like, already adds some like fun and some depth. When I was making the sample, I was like, I think I was to this step or the next step, and I was like, I don't know about this owl. I don't know. He's looking kind of weird. This isn't gonna work. Comes together in the end, I swear. Right? Whoa, big glob of paint there. Right. I hope you're enjoying this. I hope your painting is coming along. I know some of you probably feel like you've already made mistakes, and that's okay. Mistakes are just opportunities to learn, right? And adapt. Be ever better. Look at that. Okay. We are almost done. I should really pick a different brush. But anyhow, we are almost done with this red. I feel like I'm committed to this brush now. Right. You see my colors are mixing a little bit. Some areas I have big globs of red, and some areas I have big globs of blue. That's okay. They'll all come together. The more colors we add, the more all of this space fills in. Almost done with the red. And the next color we're going to move on is a purple. I think you all have like a darker colored purple. If you don't, please correct me. You can then use a different color. Just adding a couple touches of red. Okay, I think I got all the red in there. Okay, you can see that he's filling in a lot. And the more colors we do, the more all of those negative spaces from the background fill in. And you see why it wasn't necessarily necessary to paint the whole background color in there, because this is where a lot of that feathers and the layering is going to happen. All right, so you're going to rinse your brush again and get ready for the next color, which is a darker purple, which I think that you have. If you don't, that's okay. We can pick a different color. We're doing a series of, I think, 3 or 4 darker colors, and then we'll add in some lighter colors. Okay, that's the lighter colors. Game changer when we get to that point. All right, so again, make sure your brush is wet, and then dip it and get your brush nice and coated. And you're going to start again with those center spots with small strokes, and then you're going to move out. Move out from the center. My purple paint is kind of thick, so it's a little bit. If you're finding that your paint is not quite as liquid as you want it to be, like if it's very, very goopy, you can add some water to it, right? So then like dip your brush in, get it nice and wet, and then maybe do that a couple times so that you can get some water on your palette, and then you mix that kind of runny water with the paint, and it helps make your paint a little bit more liquid, okay? So I'm not sure what the consistency is of the paints that you guys are working with, but if that's the case, if they're a little goopy, you can always add some water in them to kind of help make them a little more malleable. All right, so just adding in some of these purple spots. And when I'm kind of moving around the canvas, I'm kind of looking for those areas that don't have a lot of color in them that I can kind of fill in. Here's one right here. I'm going to stick my brush there. I'm kind of looking for those spaces. Okay. Doesn't have to be, this is very free flowing, so like don't feel that you can't just kind of blindly move your brush around, which you certainly can, but it kind of helps to look for those empty spots and fill them in. But we don't have to be like, trying to fill in every spot, right? Because we're going to be doing that regardless as we move around and we do all the different colors, okay? You can see that purple is really helping all of this stuff pop, right? We're adding all these colors, all starting to look like a rainbow. Super colorful on this Spring Fest day. All right. All right. And just keep working through the canvas. All right. Almost done with the purple. And the next color that we're going to go to is, I think you have like we'll try an orange, I think, is the next color. All right. Almost done with the purple. A couple more spots in here. Right. Okay, so now he's covered with purple. Make sure you get all of the ears up here and this fun little bed head. Okay, and we're gonna rinse our brush again. And we're going to then move on to, I believe, an orange, okay? Now, if you're just joining us, it's really easy to catch up, okay? What we started with was we painted very haphazardly. It does not need to be perfect. Our background color, I chose a yellow because I think that it'll make all these fun colors pop, but you don't have to go with a yellow. I recommend a light background. We then found the center point of the canvas and made a little dot there using blue. It gets covered up later, really not a big deal. We then drew an X that you can still kind of see remnants of, but it's obviously covered up, which is why it doesn't matter, right? So we drew this like X, and then we put a series of 3 circles in. Right here in the center, right below in this lower triangle, we drew a circle with a small triangle, looks like an ice cream cone. And then here we drew 2 larger circles. They don't have to be this large. You can see in this owl, I made the circles much smaller, okay? So that is totally up to you as far as what you want to do there. And then from then on, we start working in the shape of the owl using darker colors going around, all right? So if you're just tuning in, that's an easy way to catch up. All right, so now I'm going to, I think orange, right? Yeah, okay, cool. Wait. Oh, I already put orange on here. Oh, I'm losing my mind. Okay, I'll just put a little bit more. Okay, got my brush wet. Okay, I'm gonna coat the brush. Oh yeah, this one is not quite as gloppy. This one's a little more runny. Okay, and we're gonna do the same thing, right? So we start in here. Now orange is a medium shade of color. So what we've been using previously has been kind of darker shades, right? The darker blue. A red is, while it's not completely dark, a lot of times it dries dark and it has a lot of pigment in it. It's a lot of intensity, right? So it comes out darker than you might think. You might think, oh, red is a bright color, but it's just a really bold, intense one. So when you're doing the orange, you might find that you have to dip your brush in the paint a lot to get a lot of globs of paint on your brush. That's because orange is a much lighter, it's a medium shade, right? And it's much lighter. It has a lot of yellow in it, which is not a very saturated color. It doesn't have a lot of dye in it. So it tends to, you can see, disappear a little bit with some of these other colors. So you might have to, you see, I keep having to dip my brush in the paint because also the paint is still kind of wet. So what happens is those darker colors are sometimes overpowering your lighter colors that you're putting on. So you just kind of have to keep dipping your brush in and making sure that it's completely soaked with the paint. Okay. And like if your orange is mixing, that's okay. Right? All of this is one big mixing palette and it's fine. It all comes down to the last few steps when we start adding in the details in the black and white. That's gonna be the important pivotal change. Okay. Oh, I forgot the ears up here. Awesome. Keep going. And as you add more colors, you see that like there's less space that needs to be filled in, right? So you can be a little more intentional with where you're putting them with your brush strokes. Whoa, just got a whole bunch of blue mixed in with my orange. If your brush gets a lot of like a previous color that's on here, you can just go ahead and rinse it off, right? And dry it off to make sure you get any residue off. Then get it a little bit wet again and start over. If you find that a lot of your paint is kind of transferring from the canvas to your brush, that's okay. You can just pause, rinse your brush off, and just start again, like where you left off, right? All right. Look at already this owl is starting to come together. You can see all the depth coming and filling in all of these feathers. So fun. I can't wait. Like when this is over, you all are gonna have to like share your pictures, tag us at Wilson Commons UR, put it in the comments when you're all done. I can't wait to see what you made. I'm super excited because I know that everyone's owl is gonna look different, and I can't wait to see what that is. Did you make a vertical one, a horizontal one? Did you do little eyes? Did you do big eyes? What color background did you choose? So much customization, right? Okay, I think we're almost done with the orange. Almost done. And if the colors are mixing on the canvas, that's okay. It's all right. It'll still look good in the end. I promise. My colors are mixing too. You probably just can't tell as much because you're farther away. But if you were to get up close, you'd see that all my blues and my purples and my reds and my oranges, they're all mixing, and that's okay. All right. So now I think I'm done with the orange. I'm going to move on to, I think you have a green. I think you might have more than one green, but I think you have a green. All right. A green is one of those colors that can be dark. It's kind of a medium, like the orange, right? It can be dark. It can be light. It really all depends. I do have a light green that I will use towards the end, but this is a much darker green, you can tell. I think you guys have something that's more similar to like a Kelly green, okay? Doesn't matter. All right, again, starting, whoa, with a huge glob. Whoop. That's okay. All right. Starting towards the center, working out. My green is a little bit globby, so I might water it down a little bit by dipping my paintbrush again in the water to get it wet, and then mixing it, that wet water in with the paint. Wet water. Wet water. That's a great description of water right there. Water is wet. I swear. All right. Okay, gonna color up into his ears. I've apparently decided that my owl is a boy. You can name your owl. Maybe you're making a Harry Potter owl. All right, just keep adding your green in. Just keep dipping your brush in. Because it's a medium tone, similar to the orange, you might have to keep, getting your brush, dipping it into the paint to get it to be coated. My paint is a little thick, so I'm going to have to keep kind of adding some water to mine to help make it a little bit more runny. Okay, And just look for those empty spots to fill them in. Again, there's no wrong here. Try to find those places where the canvas is showing through, right? When we did the blue in the beginning, we were mostly just willy-nilly just kind of putting colors around. Now we're being a little more intentional now, okay? And we're trying to find the spots where the canvas is still kind of showing through. But we don't need to fill them all in because we still have some more colors to go, okay? I hope you're not tired of filling all this owl in. It'll be worth it in the end. You're going to have an awesome painting for your room, for your apartment, for your mom, for your dog, for your neighbor. Me, I'll probably hang it in my office when I get back to campus, which, as much as you are all missing, we are very much missing campus too. And we miss you all very much. We can't wait to see you again. So we're so excited to do things like this so we can spend time with you. All right, I'm almost done with the green. Great. Got some spots down here. They're a little harder to reach because of the way my easel is set up. Okay, oh, and I forgot to do this side. We'll just quickly toss in some green there. And our next color, is, I think we're moving on to the light colors now. This is the fun part, okay? All right. So I think our first light color is going to be light blue. I think you have a light blue. If you don't have a light blue, you can choose a different light color that you might have. Don't choose, no, wait, I stand corrected. Pink. Let's go with pink. We'll get to light blue in a minute. Just don't do yellow yet. Yellow is one of the last colors you want to do. I forgot about pink. Pink is also kind of one of those medium shade colors. All right, so you've rinsed your brush and got all of the green off. And now you're going to go with pink. Get your brush wet. Get it nice and coated with the paint. Okay, and guess what we're going to do? The same thing we've been doing, right? We're going to try filling in some of those spaces with the color, all right? But the pink, look at that. It's adding such a really awesome, vibrant pop. Oh my God, it looks so great. It's gonna start coming together, guys. Oh my gosh. The pink, just like the orange, you kind of need to keep loading your brush up. It's coming together. You can start seeing that, like, this bright pink is really popping off of these like darker colors that we did in the kind of this underpainting. By layering in your like dark and light colors like on top of each other, it provides a really nice contrast. Okay, that's why we kind of work our way up to it. We start with putting the dark colors in, so that when we add the light colors, they really pop and stand out. All right, look at that pink. It's standing out. It's like really making the purple look cool. Oh my gosh, this looks so great. keep filling in those spaces. Keep loading your brush up with paint because the pink works well when it's nice and thick on your brush. Okay. You can see like this part right here has the pink and this part doesn't. And this looks so like more fun and vibrant than this part right here, right? It's like it makes such a difference. Okay. I hope you're all having fun. We usually do these paint and sip nights on campus, but this is a nice way to do it. We could still enjoy it all together. And when we get back to campus, we'll do these again in person. You'll have to let us know if there's anything special you want to paint. We can always do a tutorial again for something else. I think I had an option that was lilacs. I know there's some lilac fans out there. Okay, so now I have all the pink in. Now we're gonna go to the light blue, the one that I lied to you about before. Move my mountain of hair. Okay. Now we're gonna do the light blue. Okay. How are we doing? We doing good? You guys are hanging in there. Hanging in there. Which is awesome. Okay. Is there a light, like a light lavender in there, or was there only one purple? Does anyone know? Is there a light purple? Someone? One of my team? Is there a light purple in there? Let me know. Comment. I'm going to move ahead with the blue. All right. Here we go. Rinsed my brush off, dried it, got it wet again, and loaded up with the light blue. Light blue. Okay, these next couple of steps are where it really comes together. Again, start in the center, filling the spots out. We're in the home stretch. Okay, and if you don't end up filling in all of these spots, that's okay. You're gonna be the only one who knows. Okay, look at that light blue. Woo, is making this pop. With the lighter colors, it really helps to have your brush really loaded with the paint and kind of, you're moving into the gloss stage now, right? So before we kind of had our paintbrushes, maybe, some paint on it, but not a lot. With the lighter colors, it really helps to have it really thick and really globby as you're painting. All right, cool. It sounds like there's only one purple. Awesome. So the light blue is perfect. Okay. All right, keep moving through this. The short strokes towards the center. And my longer strokes as we move out. Here we go. Whoop! Knocking my canvas. Okay. My neighbors are walking by, they probably are like, oh, what's happening in here? Okay. Blue is almost done. I'm sure you guys are painting way faster than me because you have smaller canvases. So I am sorry if you have to wait on me. All right, you just kind of want to make sure that you're filling in some of the spaces. It doesn't have to be perfect, and that you are getting some of that color, the blue, everywhere around, right? So you want to make sure you get it everywhere and not just in some places, okay? All right, I am done with the light blue. Look at that. It's looking so great, guys. It's so cute. Well, I think it's cute. I hope you think it's cute. All right. So then for our last color for the feathers is yellow. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do two things with the yellow. We're going to do some highlights on the feathers, and then we're also going to do the owl's eyes. So now for the owl's eyes, you're going to need the yellow that we're going to use, but we're going to do the feathers first, and then we're going to do a little bit of orange, okay? And then once we're all done, we're in the home stretch and we're doing the black and the white, okay? So, I already have some yellow, I don't need it. Okay, get your brush nice and loaded with the paint, because remember, this is a light color, so it's harder for it to, you need it to be really thick and globby on the canvas for it to really stand out against the dark colors, okay? So now we're gonna do just like we have been doing, adding that yellow in to the feathers, okay? And you can see, like, if it's not globby, it has trouble showing up, okay? And this is just kind of like a highlight that we're doing. We're pulling in that background color, okay, into what we're doing. It's really tying the whole thing together. And this is why, like, it's not such a big deal if your canvas is still showing through. So, like, I have a lot of my canvas still showing through, and it kind of adds texture to the feathers. It adds some depth. It pulls in some of the yellow from the background or some white back there. It's totally fine. Like, it doesn't need to be completely covered, okay? We're being creative. It's okay for it to not be perfect. Great. There we go. The yellow, I'm not using quite as much of the yellow. I'm just kind of doing a little bit here and there. Okay. We're almost done. Oh, I gotta do the top of his head. Up here. Great. And then we're gonna do the eyeballs, okay? Some yellow in here. Okay, now we're gonna do the eyeballs. You're gonna take your brush. You're gonna get it nice and covered with the yellow. Okay, and you're gonna kind of come into here. Now you see that, like, the yellow is not covering up a lot of this, and that's okay. We're gonna use some black in here, okay? What we wanna do is we wanna get the eyeball, like, wet, okay? We want to get it coated with paint. And you see, like, I just got some green in here. It's fine, not a big deal, okay? We just wanna get this whole eyeball area wet with paint so that we can do kind of what we did in the background, okay? Where we mixed in some of the orange, okay? So now that I've gotten this one eyeball, we're gonna do one eye at a time, okay? So I got this one eyeball loaded with yellow paint, so it is wet, okay? It's tacky. And now I'm gonna dip my brush in the orange, okay? And I'm gonna go around the edge. I'm gonna do just like what we did for the background, okay? And I'm blending it into that yellow paint, okay? I just keep moving my brush to keep kind of mixing it on the canvas together, okay? You don't always need to mix your paint on your palette, okay? You can sometimes mix it right on the canvas. Especially with like oil paints, these are acrylics, so that means that you have a certain time limit before they start to dry. Oil paints, you have to like cure them in a specific way, but for these, you just have to work with a clock. It's harder to do that with watercolor paints. Watercolor paints, you usually have to like layer or mix in a palette, okay? Now look at that. You can see that there's some depth, right? It's starting to look like a sphere, right? Because we added this it's kind of shading on it, okay? And you can always add more yellow if you're like, oh, I got too much orange in there. I'm gonna add some more yellow. You know, as long as it's still, like you're still using paint and everything, it's still wet, you can keep moving the paint around, okay? So I think I got that eyeball to a place where I like it. I'm gonna rinse my brush off a little bit just so that I can start fresh with yellow, okay? I'm gonna start loading my brush up with the yellow. I'm gonna do the same thing that I just did on the other side, okay? Where I load up the eyeball, I cover it all up with the yellow, even though it's hard to see. I swear it's there. We're just getting the area wet with the paint so that we can do the blending, okay? All right, just keep loading it up. Okay, now I've gotten that all covered with the yellow paint. I know, hard to see. And then I'm going to do what we just did the other side, right? Where I'm going to add the orange. Now, what I did over here is I have a little bit more orange on this side than I do on this side, okay? So now I'm going to mirror that, and I'm going to do more orange on this side of the eyeball, okay? Keep it symmetrical. Okay, just keep moving our brush around. And if you paint over your feathers, like I painted over some of my feathers, that's okay. We're gonna go back and we're gonna add some details in with the black, okay? Okay, all right. Look at that, we got some eyeballs. Now what are they missing? The pupils, right? So we have two colors left to use. The first is black. So rinse your brush off real good. I'm gonna find my black paint. Pretty empty, I use it a lot. Right. Move my paint around here, get it out of the way. All right, I'm gonna put some black paint on my palette. I know that you guys have the little paint pots. Okay. All right. Now, my black paint is a little gloopy, and I want it to be a little runny because I want to have some control in it, right? Here when we had the kind of globby, gloopy paint, it wasn't that big of a deal, right? Because we're creating this really fun like texture. With this part, we want to have more detail, more accurate lines, okay? So I'm gonna get my brush wet, and then I'm gonna add some of the water to the paint so that it's a little bit more runny, okay? And what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with the owl's nose. We're not gonna start with the eyes, and the reason we're not gonna start with the eyes is because those are still wet right now, okay? And we're gonna let them dry a little bit while we do some of the other things, okay? So we're gonna start with the nose, and we're going to paint a circle, Okay, now you can just kind of spin your brush around. Okay, you don't have to, do this with your brush. However, if you would like to, that's totally fine. Sometimes you get a smoother line if you just leave your brush on the canvas and then you just kind of turn your hand. Okay, just kind of turn your hand. And if oh, I want to make mine a little bit bigger. You don't have to follow the exact shape that you drew before. You can modify your nose. So like if you are like, oh, I missed this area, I didn't fill it in with feathers, I want to make the nose bigger, you can totally do that. This black goes over. This is one of the reasons why it's one of the last steps, is it's going over all the other things, okay? So I want to make my nose just a little bit wider to cover in some of this area. All right, and I'm gonna fill it in. I've done the circle part. Now I need to do the ice cream cone. All right, so you're just gonna kind of draw down. This is where it helps to kind of have the a little bit runnier, so you can get to you can draw a nice point for your beak, for your nose. Okay. I'm just moving my head, sorry, so I can see a little bit. It's weird painting sideways. I'm used to painting in front of it, so might be a little wonky because of that. Okay, so nice and filled in with the black. Okay, we're gonna let that dry while we move on to the eyes, but not the pupils yet, okay? We'll add those in a minute. We're going to, again, make sure that your paint is a little bit runny just so that you can get a nice fine line and not too globby, okay? And we're going to start with outlining. Yeah, so we're gonna give the owl some nice eyeliner. He's very fashionable. So we're gonna do some eyelining and then a little bit of shaping, okay, to add some shadow. So I'm gonna start, you can start anywhere you want. It doesn't really matter because we're basically doing a ring around the eye. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of start up here. And this doesn't have to be perfect. So you see how I'm kind of doing these like short motions? That's okay, right? Just make sure you keep getting your paint, your brush wet with your paint, okay? Now, this is kind of, look at that. It's filling in those areas where the feathers were kind of meeting the eyeball shape, right? Okay, so now I have my outline on my eye, and I'm gonna add some shadow to it, okay? I'm gonna add the shadow up here at the top. So his ear is kind of creating a shadow on his head, okay? And I'm just doing some motions, kind of similar to the feathers over here, okay? Doesn't have to be perfect, right? I'm also gonna do a little bit right here, just a little, okay? Not a lot, just a little bit. And it's okay if your black mixes a little bit with some of these colors if they're still wet. If you use globs of the lighter colors, you might be still kind of wet, okay? Now we're gonna do the same on the other side, right? So we're gonna do the outline, give him some nice eyeliner. Oh, I need to get some more water in my paint here. All right. Okay, now I did my eyeliner. You can see that there's feathers going over the eyeball. It's fine, don't worry about it. Okay, now I'm gonna add the shading just like we did over here, but on the other side, right? So under his ear, I'm gonna change the shape of his eye just slightly. There we go. Okay, adding some shading in here. Okay, match the other side a little bit. If it's not perfectly matched, if it's not completely symmetrical, that is okay. I'm gonna come in here, add that little bit that we have on the other side. Okay, now the last thing we have to do with the black is to do the eyeballs. Now, we're gonna look at the example that I gave. So look how far we've come. Look at it, it's so great. We're almost done. So we filled in the eyeballs, okay? We filled them in. So now we have to do the pupils. Now you can see on this owl, I kind of put the pupils in the center and I made them kind of small. You can make them really big if you want, like that Disney owl we kind of talked about in the beginning. We can certainly do that, all right? Or you can make this whatever size you want to make them, okay? Now, if your canvas is still kind of wet here, that's okay. Just keep layering on the black in globs and it will work out, okay? The black will overpower any other color. We're almost done. We have one thing left after this, the white. Almost done, I swear. Look at that, he's so cute. All right. I'm gonna get my brush just a little bit wet because paint's not moving around like I want it to. Okay. All right, we are ready for the very last step. And this very last step really helps bring it all home, okay? So we're gonna grab the white, and the white we're gonna use kind of globby, right? It's a white, it's a light color, so we're gonna use this heavy-handed, okay? But we're using it sparingly, okay? We're only gonna use it in a few areas, but we wanna make sure that our brush is nice and coated with that white, okay? If you want some more control, you need to water it down just a little bit, you certainly can do that, okay? All right, now we're gonna do what we did with the feathers, where we start in the center and we work out, but we're only doing his eyebrows, okay? So we're gonna start here, just a little bit above, around his nose, right, that center point, which is like right there, okay? We're gonna go up. Now we're gonna overlap the eyes a little bit, right? That's okay. We're gonna overlap. We're gonna follow that line, that imaginary line that you made, okay? That we've now covered in paint, that X, okay? You're gonna kind of follow that line and make the little dashes for the feathers, okay? Make sure you keep dipping your brush in the paint, okay? I'm gonna do it on the other side. Overlap his eyes a little bit, it's fine, right? He's got wild monster eyebrows. Okay, we're gonna do it on the other side, okay? If you get a little black in there from the eyeballs that we just painted, that's okay. You can rinse off your brush, dry it off, and then, put it back in the white paint and start over. Or you can just keep adding white paint to your brush, and eventually it overpowers the black, okay? All right, now we got his eyebrows. Now we're gonna do just a little bit down his face, okay? Down by his nose. You see? It's got a little bit around his nose, okay? So we're just gonna do a little bit, again, we're gonna focus kind of in the center and then bring it down just a little, okay? Again, overlapping his nose or his eyes is totally fine. Okay, we're just gonna bring it down a little bit. All right, so I'm gonna paint just a little bit of a line there. And now we're gonna take that white paint. So now we've pretty much done his face, like the feathers here. And I'm just gonna go around and just add random white feathers here and there, okay? It helps make those not stand out as much, right? They don't look as random if he's got a little bit of that going on everywhere, okay? So we're gonna add just a few of these. Not a lot, not as many as we did earlier, right? We're not trying to fill them in. Okay, just a few spots. You can see there's just a few. You know, when you think you're done with the spots, like, you know, whatever is a good stopping point for you. Sometimes I have trouble finding when the good stopping point is. Okay, I think that's good. Oh, I forgot the top of his head. So then we'll just add a couple up here. So that doesn't look as odd. Okay, you can kind of add like a little bit of a line here. Okay, now we have one last thing to do, and we're gonna be done. One last thing, and that is the highlights. Okay, so you see on his nose, he has a little highlight on his nose and on his beak, okay, and then also on his eyeballs. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start with the ones on his nose. Okay, so get your brush nice and loaded with the paint, okay, because we want it to be nice and globby. And you're gonna find the center of his nose, okay, and then you're gonna go a little bit to the left, okay, so about right here, and you're gonna put your brush down, and then you're gonna pull down and away, okay, down and away, kind of a motion like this, okay, away from your canvas, and you get a nice teardrop shape. Or if you have a really tiny brush, you know, you can draw that shape in, okay? Then you're gonna do a couple highlights on the circle part of his beak, okay? So we're gonna do one there. We're gonna do a little one. And then another one, okay? It just makes it look like the beak is coming out. And also, like, you ever seen a bird, like their beaks are usually fairly shiny. Most birds have shiny beaks. So it kind of gives it that feeling that it is shiny. It's a different texture than its feathers. And that, and it has depth, right? We just added all the depth with the feathers. We just add it with the beak. Now we're gonna do the eyeballs. And this is the very last part, okay? We're gonna do the same motion that we did here, where we put the brush down and we do that like gentle curve out, right? But we're gonna do it in a circular shape. So put the brush down. There we go. And then we're gonna match it on the other side. Ready? Here we go. That's it. What do you think? I hope it came out awesome. I hope that you loved it. I can't wait to see your owls. Please comment, message us on Instagram, Facebook, at Wilson Commons You Are. I want to see your photos. I want to see what you made. Share it with me. It was great painting with you. This last hour went a little over an hour, so I apologize for that, but I hope you had fun. Most of you stuck it through. I can't wait to see your owls and what you named them, and if you did horizontal or vertical. We all miss you at Wilson Commons so much, and we are so sad that we couldn't spend today with you. It means a lot to us. We care so much about the students, so I hope that you enjoyed spending this last hour with me. I know I enjoyed spending it with you. All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye.